In my last video, I've talked about how to grow succulent clusters. One of the suggestions was to grow succulent types that produce loads of offsets and clumps easily. I've given a few examples throughout the video, but there's heaps more succulents that can grow into beautiful big clusters. Here's 20 plus tried and tested succulents, including cacti I grow in my nursery. If you like them spiky, agave Perry grows magnificent huge clusters. It is a tough plant that will do well in large pots or planted in the garden. The spikes are like needles, so do be careful where you place these. If you could do without the spikes but still want the agave look, the attenuata is a superb alternative. It can grow quite big and the clumps can quickly take over a small garden. They may be best for gardens with lots of space or bigger pots that will manage the size. Piranha is one funky hybrid with bumps and red teeth running along the edges. Just like the majority of aloe cultivars, it forms beautiful clumps and is quite easy to grow. It will do well in pots and frost-free gardens. This cute little cactus has soft white spines and grows in tight clumps. It multiplies pretty fast for a cactus and can produce a decent clump in a growing season in good conditions. As a bonus, it produces beautiful white flowers every spring. Big clumps look absolutely stunning when in bloom. Another superb clumping Ilostera cultivar we grow is Pulvinosa with its pretty orange flowers. Many Echeveria are also called hen and chicks due to their clumping habit. Not all Echeveria form clusters, but most do. I'm going to look at a few of my favorites, starting with Agavoids cultivars. When it comes to Echeveria agavoids and all of its cultivars, cluster forming can be a bit of a hit and miss. Lipstick forms beautiful huge clusters, though they can take some time to form. You will need big pots and good succulent potting mix to coax those chicks out. But the effort is definitely worth it. Albicans is a form of Echeveria elegans, which we will have a look at next. It grows chunky leaves and forms tight clumps. It is quite an easy Echeveria to grow, but beware of slugs and snails as they particularly like this plant. Elegans featured heavily in my previous video on clusters as it is so very good at forming them. They can become pretty big and look amazing. Elegans is also easy to grow and can go in pots as well as frost-free gardens. Topsy-Turvy is a strange but wonderful cultivar and can produce loads of offsets. The clumps are superb, especially if you like the unusual weed shape. Because of the unusual shape, Topsy-Turvy has been heavily hybridized with great results. Many of its hybrids too form stunning clumps. My favorites are Pinwheel Revolution and Cubic Frost. Halbingeri is a small cultivar, but it sure is generous with its offsets, creating beautiful clusters. Despite being small, it's easy to grow and you won't need huge pots to get clusters. If little clumps sound appealing, you may also like Echeveria minima or Echeveria shamrock. And we'll wrap up clumping Echeveria with the Violet Queen. As you can see, she pops out loads of chicks and the clusters can grow pretty big in good conditions. Violet Queen is easy to grow too, making it a perfect beginner succulent. There are many other Echeveria cultivars that will create clusters. These are, in my opinion, some of the best and easiest. If you have a favorite cluster forming Echeveria, you can share with us in the comments below. This cute little cactus is also known as the peanut cactus due to forming clusters that look like a bunch of arranged peanuts. It grows quite fast and you'll have fantastic clusters in no time. If you want to grow succulent clusters indoors, Gasteria cultivars are shade tolerant enough for this to be possible. It is good to remember that most succulents will grow very slow indoors unless you have a super bright sunny room or grow lights. You can watch my previous video to learn more. Other Gasteria cultivars also clump, so you can pretty much get whichever you fancy the most. Purple Delight grows large rosettes and its spreading habit can create beautiful colorful clusters. Because it can spread randomly, some selective pruning may be needed if you like your clusters nice and rounded. Most cultivars in the Graptopetalum genus are able to create big and beautiful clumps. Some of my favorites are Graptopetalum paraguayens and Superbum. Okay, so Cymbiformis is the queen of clusters. Just look at all those chicks. If you give this succulent enough space and nutrients, it will form big clusters. Like Gasteria, plants in the Haworthia genus are also shade tolerant and grow best in a bright shade or filtered light. But again, indoors without sufficient light, clusters are not likely to grow this much. Many other similar Haworthia such as Cuspidata here will grow large clusters too. Not all of course, but many. Some of my favorites are the Coopery cultivars such as this Truncata, and Haworthia attenuata and fasciata cultivars. This little succulent is one of the fastest cluster forming plants I've ever grown. It goes deeply dormant in winter, but once spring comes along, it literally explodes. New offsets keep forming until about mid-autumn, at which point flowers appear and the flowering rosette dies off. The pink blooms of this cactus are indeed sensational, especially in mature clusters. Rebutia grow into clusters fast, and more space they have, faster they'll grow. If you like this cactus, you will love Rebutia heliosa, which has stunning orange flowers. I love the pretty blue mound Sedum clavatum creates. Many rosette-forming sedum will grow into neat clusters, though some may need to be pruned. Sempervivum is another group of succulents called hen and chicks, and they are the ultimate cluster-forming succulents. Pretty much any Sempervivum will form a cluster, and they can be extremely prolific. If your climate gets snow and frost during winter, these guys are mostly tolerant of these conditions. These succulents are hybrids created by crossing plants from different genera. For instance, Graptoveria is a cross of Graptopetalum and Echeveria cultivars. Most of these are prolific cluster growers. You can pick almost any Graptoveria, Graptosedum or Sedaveria and you'll have a lovely cluster in no time. And that is all for today. You can let us know in the comments if you have a favorite cluster forming succulent I haven't mentioned here. To learn more about succulents, you can hit the subscribe button or go to our website succulentgrowingtips.com. Thank you so very much for watching.